I'ma treat you like you're my last cigarette. 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 I'ma treat you like
Hope it don't end the
you're my last
same
cigarette.
way. About to start another day.
I'ma treat you like you're my last cigarette.
About to start another day. Hope it don't end the same way. About to start another day. Hope it don't end the same way. About to start another day.
I'ma treat you like you're my last cigarette.
About to start another day.
I'ma treat you like you're my last cigarette.
About to start another day.
I'ma treat you like you're my last cigarette. I'ma treat you like you're my last cigarette. I'ma treat you like you're my last cigarette. I'ma treat you like you're my last cigarette.
We have made it back. Another day, another 10 cents. Shout out to everybody out there at the Core Plantation, doing what you need to do to survive. Shout out to everybody out there handling business. We have made it back. Did G's come back? Oh, damn. Shout out to the homegirl Erica. Florida in the building. Shawnee. Philly is in the building. Shout out to my brothers David No Compromise and my brother James Numblood. Georgia in the building. Texas in the building. Man, shout out to everybody out there in the United States of America Incorporated. Shout out to the homegirl Jerica in Vegas. My siblings in Vegas handling business. Shout out to them. Shout out to the homegirl Melina, North Carolina, aka North Kakalaka. Shout out to them. Man, we got a great one today. Being used for the system. Your girl Fannie Willis, she needs to shut the fuck up. So we gonna get into this. I got a little audio. And we gonna break this down about why it's not good to be used for the system. You want to prosecute brothers and then think you big and bold enough to go after Trump, a billionaire and the president? We about to show you. And I'm going to break it down to you really simply in the most simplistic form of why sometimes we need to understand when we're being used. And do not think you're going to be able to use the dominant society to chase clout, because it will always backfire on you. Let's get it. Man. Let me find it. I'm just waiting for this commercial to end, and then we're going to play this little short clip of your girl Fannie Willis. Because we don't do commercials on here, because guess what? We don't get sponsored, motherfuckers. But man, this is gonna be great, because I've been watching this for a while, and it's like, this sister just don't get it. She really don't get it. It's a long ass commercial.
Saturday at an Easter egg hunt. The event was put together by WAVE, an organization of law enforcement officers dedicated to helping children and the homeless throughout the year. Willis was surprisingly candid, Fred, regarding questions about the last few months of her life, including her Georgia election interfering case against Donald Trump and the scandal brought about by her prior romantic relationship with special prosecutor she appointed for the case. We wanted to know if she feels like she needs to reclaim her reputation, and this was her reply.
It's not about her reputation. It's about her thinking that she is big and bad enough to go against a dominant society billionaire. This is their system that they built to keep us at bay. And you think your little DA money is going to be able to fuck with Trump money? Stop. This is the system of racism, white supremacy. You're not establishing a system of justice. You're being used as a pawn in a bigger scheme. And it's not going to work, you dumbo.
I don't feel like my reputation needs to be reclaimed. Let's say it for the record. I'm not embarrassed by anything I've done.
We're embarrassed for you. We're embarrassed for you.
You know, I guess my greatest crime is I had a relationship with a man, but that's not something that I find embarrassing in any way. And I know that I have not done anything that's illegal.
The racketeering case was delayed by 2 months. So let's remember, following the revelations about her personal life, her decision-making credibility was also damaged in the eyes of Judge Scott McAfee. But the embattled Fulton County District Attorney said the main case was not delayed because her team never stopped working on it. Let's take a listen.
No, my team's been continuing to work, and I think the media, and especially organizations like your own, have been paying attention. All while that was going on, we were writing responsive briefs. We were still doing the case in the way that it needed to be done. I don't feel like we've been slowed down at all. I do think that there are efforts to slow down this train, but the train is coming.
Oh, the train is coming. Oh, okay. Well, then we're going to definitely see. Let me tell y'all something. Let's get on this real quick. When you are being used for the system of racism, white supremacy, the dominant society will make you feel like you're on the right path. But let me tell you something. If they haven't prosecuted Bill Clinton for being at Jeffrey Epstein's house getting a massage by an underage girl, what y'all think they gonna do to Trump? They had all you dumb niggas thinking, yeah, Trump about to go to jail. Trump, I heard everyone that shit. Trump, that's why I watch Trump, because Biden gonna get him. Biden then watch, because Biden, they gonna get Trump, because Trump, you know what I'm saying, because Trump. Right. This is a white billionaire in the system of racism, white supremacy, and he's gonna go to jail. Stop. That motherfuckers better wake the fuck up. I'm like, damn, man, we that dumb? And this is the dumbest bitch I've ever seen. Yo little DA money ain't, look, let me tell you something. What did Tupac say? You told me that when I go to work, get my money right. I got my money right. You better get your money right. And that little $800,000, $600,000 salary that bitch got, compared to a billionaire, stop. You're dealing with billions. And when Donald Trump and his team dropped the anvil on that bitch, then she's gonna be like, and I'm gonna tell you what the dominant society is gonna do. As our sister Erica always says, when white supremacists are done with black folk, done with their tools, they break them. And let me tell you what they're gonna do. They're going to publicly humiliate and shame her and she's gonna wish she never worked again. Because you're not doing it to establish a system of justice, you're doing it for clout. Just like you went after YSL and you do, this is clout shit. That's all you gotta watch black folk that get in these fictitious positions of power, and then they go after black folk. Then you be like, damn, why you going after black folk? You got all these dominant society people around here, you want to go after us? Because that's how they get their name. That's how they get their brand from the dominant society. The Democratic Party knows it's a wrap. They know it. They know that it's a wrap. They know it's over with. They know that there ain't no fucking coming back. They also know that Trump is probably going to win again. Nobody gives a fuck about no goddamn 94 crime bill Biden. Black folk have woken up. We have been awakened. We want fucking reparations. And fuck anybody that be like, oh, why they get them? The majority of the people that's talking that shit ain't even from the United States of America Incorporated. They did not help contribute to building this foundation. And they are over here, as Dr. Claude Anderson says, for unearned benefits. So don't even listen to motherfuckers like that. But I want people to watch this. Because most sisters will be like, well, that's a successful sister. She going out of the system. No. We need to understand what we're doing. You need to understand the social game rules. That's not how it works. Oh, you think you're gonna go? Let me tell y'all something. When you go to court, it's whoever pays the most. The majority of the time, it isn't about telling your story and your story being true. It's about who pays the most, who has the best lawyer, who has the best team behind them. That's how the United States of America is orchestrated. That's the social game rules. And when you're dealing with that billionaire, he's going to drop the anvil. And when he does drop the anvil on you, then you're going to be like, oh, goddamn. Then you're going to be going back to black folk. Hey, big head, and all this bullshit. Let me tell you something. Don't let this fool you. Y'all heard it first. I'm telling you. By the time Trump's team is done with her, she's gonna wish she didn't do this shit. Watch. Just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Hey, that bullshit. I'm telling y'all, we need to understand what establishing a system of justice. That's not establishing no system of justice. Going after YSL, in my personal opinion, that's not establishing a system of justice. That's using black folk to gain favor with the dominant society. Going after YSL and all this other shit. No, you could have let that to some other motherfucker to go after them. Why didn't you do like white folk do other white folk? Oh, there ain't enough evidence in this YSL case, so we're going to have to go ahead and drop the case. Why didn't you do that? Man. But here y'all are want to go after them. I'm so sick of our people thinking that we have that much power that we're going to use other groups to gain favor. That's not how it works. It's just like at the Court Plantation. Like Neely Fuller Jr. said, when you see two white folk at the job arguing, that's just two white supremacists arguing about who's the biggest slave master. If they not establishing the system of justice, stay the fuck out of it. But black folk, we always go out of our way to jump in the middle of it. That's why what the Israel and the Palestine thing, black folks like, that's on y'all. We ain't got nothing to do with that shit. We don't got nothing to do with the bullshit. So good luck. And that's why we did what we did. That's why we stayed the fuck out of it. Because in my eyes, I'm like, I don't have a dog in that fight. And I'm not finna get involved in that shit. Then you causing all kinds of people. You know how many black folks lost their job behind making comments about that Israel and goddamn Palestine shit? And then most foundational black Americans was like, man, fuck that. I ain't lose my job, so motherfuckers start shutting the fuck up and not saying shit. That's how you supposed to be. Don't say a motherfucking thing. Do what you need to do. And this lady, Fannie Willis, thinks she's slick and she's trying to pretend and put on the front like, oh, well, the train is coming. Yeah, right. Do y'all see Donald Trump? This is the president of the fucking United States of America. You know what type of clearance he has? You know what type of information he's got on this bitch? This is the United States of America's president. He was the president. So you know what type of clearance he has to get? You know what type of information he can get on this woman? You know what type of pressure he can put on? And that's why I was like, oh, you think you slick, you gonna go on court and have an attitude? See, she got sisters thinking that's how you get act. Let me tell y'all something, sisters. Y'all better understand how this system works. Y'all better start reading these books and understand that. Don't let this dumb bitch fool y'all. Don't let her fool you. She's being used by the system of white supremacy. Because let me tell you something. The Democratic Party done threw everything at Donald Trump and it ain't worked. Didn't y'all say that Donald Trump was going to go to prison? I see that nigga still out chilling, running his campaign, laughing at you motherfuckers. But y'all said he was going to go to prison. That's why I don't believe the hype. They said they was going to put Hillary Clinton in prison for all those emails and shit. See, Hillary Clinton's still out. They don't even know who they're going to get to run for the United States president on the Democratic side because Democrats are so goddamn racist and fucked up. And that whole, the Republicans are racist, that's a farce now. Black folk don't believe none of that shit. We don't believe you. You need more people. So, sorry, people lie, numbers don't. And the Democratic Party is just as racist as the Republican Party. They all fucking racist. They all treat black folk like shit. Ain't ne'er one of y'all motherfuckers talking about reparations or repaying us for what is owed to us. Y'all see the interest rates are high. Y'all see inflation's at an all-time high. Black folk need jobs. Black folk need help. Black folk are trying to buy homes. Black folk are trying to do better things for themselves, buy stock, bonds, 401k. And how the fuck we gonna do that when we gotta constantly battle a motherfucker at the job for the little bit of money that y'all paying us? So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that at all. That's why I was just laughing. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, Erica, Shawnee, all y'all. I was like, what is this bitch doing? Do you really think in your heart of heart that you got the money to go against a billionaire? And you think you're gonna succeed? He's a billionaire. He's gonna, that money that you using for your your attorneys and all that nigga got 30 attorneys. And he just keep throwing cases at your ass over and over again. What do y'all think billionaires do to people? That's how the United States of America's judicial system is constructed. That's the way it is. In the matter of color, go read that book. Go read all the laws and shit that they put in place. I haven't read that book in a long time. That book was so disheartening. Man, I ain't never been so stressed out of my damn life. I don't know if that book was more stressed than Slavery by Another Name. One out of two of those books was stressed out. Of course, Dr. Clyde Anderson's Black Labor White Wealth. That was the stressor of all stressors. After I read the first couple chapters of Black Labor White Wealth, I literally wanted to call Dr. Anderson on the phone and be like, God damn, nigga. Now this is fucked up. Now we got to do something about this shit. Because it was just so insightful. And I was upset because I'm like, that should have been in every black church in the United States of America. For real. and that's why when I'm reading, you know, these little articles on Fannie Willis, I'm like, what the fuck is this dumb bitch doing? You know what I mean? I'm just like, what the fuck is she doing? What is she going for? Oh, you think you be an example? Like Ketanji Brown and all these other fake pawns that they put in fictitious positions of power and treat them like they're gonna really make a difference. Look at Kamala Harris. Now, what has she done for black folks? I was having this conversation with a sister, very, very beautiful, educated sister. I'm like, but what has he done for black folks? She was like, well, y'all have to understand. She was making up excuses. I'm like, but every other president gets in there and do what they want for their racial group. But why, when it comes to black folk, we start making excuses? And I started telling her, very beautiful sister, and I said, sister, you need to read Black Labor White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. You need to read Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson. You need to read the ISIS Papers by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. I just start giving books. I don't argue with my people. I give them books to go read so you can have a different perspective. Because it's easy to be like, what, like Dr. Claude Anderson teaches. Why is it when it's black folk, oh, he got to be the president of all people? But when it's every other president, they can do what they want for white folk. All those laws are constructed for white folk. So I don't want to hear none of that bullshit about, oh, well, he's got to be the president for all people. And I just be like, we can agree to disagree, but a lot of times when you have a conversation with people, they ain't read shit. So they kind of just go off what they've heard and the little bit of research that they've done. But I said Dr. Claude Anderson is an economist, a black economist. He's a motherfucker that broke down the system in layman's terms. And he's done research and he's worked within this system. That's why I thought about writing a book. I've been jotting and putting putting notes together because my time at the Core Plantation, man, I have observed and seen so much bullshit. And I've been put on so much game. So much game. And within that system of the Core Plantation, you will find some John Browns. You will find some dominant society people that will buck the system, that will be like, hey, don't fuck with that motherfucker, they racist. This person is racist. That person is racist. These people don't like black folk. They treat black people like shit. That's why I don't fuck with them. You will find white folk like that. But those white folk that you do find like that, you better listen to what they're really telling you. Some of them speak in code. Some of them, and the majority of those white folk that act like that at the job, they not trying to be all in your business. They don't want to know your personal business. They just going to tell you and leave it alone. And those are the people that you want to hear and you want to listen to. Because I got a cold perspective on the Core Plantation. Shout out to the homegirl Nuke. Shout out to Sister Cobweb, a.k.a. Roxanne, a.k.a. Sister Cobweb. Those some brilliant sisters, too, at the Core Plantation that can give you a lot of game on what they've seen. I'm thinking about, I got a lot of ideas. I thought about doing it a minute ago, but I thought about doing a documentary on the corporate plantation. Just a documentary, just a series of interviews of people's experiences at the corporate plantation. I just gotta take the time and do it. It's a lot of effort. And just do a corporate plantation documentary. And get some white point of views, some Latino point of views, and then a lot of black point of views of racism and how it's treated and what would you observe? I'll be coming up with ideas. Oh, yeah. I do. Because we need to see this and we need to learn it. This is the thing that I feel like our generation has dropped the ball at. You know what I mean? Look, your parents ain't perfect and the people who raised you ain't perfect, and that's not what it's about, them being perfect. But some of the people that raised, they don't know. That's why I kind of go hard on the black church in the stance of, y'all needed to teach us more about money management and dealing with the corporate plantation. Because in this today's society, racism is a lot different from back in the day. Racism is very covert. So if you don't know those social game rules, you won't have the job long. And that's just the way it is, you know? I also feel like this is just my personal opinion and my perspective. I also feel like people like Fannie Willis muddies up the waters for foundational Black Americans because we think this is what we're supposed to be doing. Well, isn't that what you're supposed to be doing as a DA? No, you ain't supposed to be prosecuting your own people. You prosecute them other motherfuckers. Oh, but Warren YSL, look, that could be handled behind closed doors. But when people want to make a public spectacle of that shit of our own people, no. I totally agree with that. Well, Warren, those people were committing crimes. We don't know what they was doing. We don't know what Young Thug and them was doing. We going by what they told us. We don't know what the fuck they was doing. Why Bertie Madoff and all these motherfuckers stealing hundreds of millions of dollars from people. So I don't want to hear that shit. Stop. And these court plantations is paying all these people at the top millions and millions of dollars to make ill-advised decisions about the rest and the remainder of the commoner. So I don't agree with none of that shit. I just think we have to wake up and understand that when you're being used. Matter of fact, I worked in a situation in a court plantation setting, this was years ago, where, you know, they try to put me in a fictitious position of power, right? And when they did that, I was just like, man, you know, I try to make a little difference and try to do a little something. I tried to do a little something and you know, make my little wave. And then when I started to notice, I was like, nah, man, y'all not doing that. It was just a situation they were trying to get me to do the devil's work. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And they was like, had a meeting with me like, oh, well, this is leadership. I was like, no, that's not leadership. What y'all trying to do is get me to be confrontational with another staff member. And that's not Warren, and I'm not doing that. I didn't take on this role to be confrontational with other people. No. You want to be confrontational with them? Go ahead. But where's the policy that say I'm supposed to do that? Oh, well, you know, as a leader, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And we can get on the phone with human resources right now. And let me tell you what they said. They tried to give me a speech about how important it is to be, you know, in leadership. And I'm laughing because at this point, I'm like, nah. My gut was like, nah, Warren, don't fuck with that shit. And I didn't. I was like, I'm not doing that. And you know what happened? I saw it. And one of the, it was a couple of dominant society people that came to me and was like, man, Warren, we thought you was gonna be such, but you wasn't even really on that. And honestly, bro, that's why we fuck with you. And I'm just looking like, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. And then they kind of had like a little meeting with me. It was like, nah, bro. Like, nah, that's why we fuck with you, man, because you don't be doing none of that sucker shit, like telling on people and dry snitching. No, bro, because I don't want nobody doing that shit to me. And when I had the will of the people, I noticed upper management, they didn't like that shit. Oh, David, James, Erica, Shawnee, man, all y'all, Jerica, Josh, everybody out there, my siblings, everybody has went through this. It fucked them up. Because people started taking up for me and speaking up for me and be like, nah, that ain't cool how y'all treat Warren, all that. And they did not like that shit at all. And see, I didn't really know a lot of this was going on because I got my earphones on, I'm gonna do my job and I'm going by my way. But I'm not gonna be no dry snitch. I'm not gonna do the devil's work. Let me tell y'all why. Because in this system of racism and white supremacy, you could do the devil's work and somebody can come up there and go postal. Now, do you want that? Do you want to be responsible for that? Because you going out of your way to treat somebody fucked up, or you're doing the devil's work and they're telling you to go out of your way to treat somebody fucked up? And then that motherfucker come in there and go postal? Nigga, they gonna blame all that shit on you. They ain't gonna blame me. They ain't gonna take the blame for that shit. So that's exactly why I was like, nope. Y'all motherfuckers ain't finna get me to do no sucker shit like that. Oh, and they hated it. Because I was already in that little fictitious position of power, and they didn't like it because they wanted a motherfucker to play that political game, and I was like, I'm not doing that shit. And I'm glad I didn't do it. I'm glad I did. And let me tell y'all something. When I left that situation and went somewhere else, and I left, I'm telling you, when I left, when everybody started to hear that I left, everybody was leaving. They was so fucked up about that shit. They had to tell me, don't tell people what department you going to. Could you kind of just keep that to yourself? Because people just start quitting. Oh, Warren leaving? I'm out. Oh, hey, you hear that? Man, you know how many calls I was getting that day? Man, I heard that you leaving. I heard you. Yup, I'm out. Man, I'm out too. People was putting that to we, because when you, in my personal perspective, take the road less traveled, and you're an honorable person, you're honorable in business, and you don't do the dry snitching thing, and you're not trying to knock no money off somebody or no food off somebody's plate, because you don't want them to knock nothing off your plate. Sometimes that goes a long way with whatever racial group you fucking with. Like I said before, I know how dominant society people can be. They your friend is one as long as you're not equal to them or above them. Then they start looking at you crazy. So I know I had that shit too. But Warren just kept being who he was. I wasn't gonna allow the system to use me that way. They tried, but I wouldn't. And I wouldn't back down. I was like, no, I'm not doing that shit. And I watched everybody kind of give me a different type of respect. And once they started giving me a different type of respect, it was a wrap. I remember one of the homeboys that I worked with there, he had to come to me and he was like, my nigga, man. I was like, what? He's like, my nigga, all these white boys, everybody respects you and they don't like that shit. And I was like, why you saying that? He's like, cuz, bro, you don't be dry snitching on people. You do your fucking work. You come to work every day. You do your job. You go to fuck home. You don't get involved in nobody's politics. You actually concerned about motherfuckers and you be trying to make sure that everybody get home at a timely manner. And if somebody don't get home, you are willing to go and be like, why the fuck didn't they not get home on time? Why did this happen? Why this happen? He was like, Warren, these motherfuckers fuck with you, dog. And I was like, you think so? He's like, yeah. He's like, you just ain't paying attention because you don't give a fuck. Because you just here to do your job and going about your way. Then what ended up happening was everybody else started fucking with me too. Everybody. People in other departments was like, damn, Warren, man, I heard you the shit over there. I'm like, what you mean I'm the shit? They're like, man, I just heard everybody like working for you. Everybody wants you to be a manager type shit. Supervisor, I'm like, nah, fuck that. They can have that bullshit. Yup, I was getting that shit a lot. This is true. This ain't no bullshit or no cap as they fucking say. This true story. Because, nigga, I didn't do that shit. I'm not doing the devil's work. And I was bold enough to say that in meetings. Like, man, I feel like sometimes y'all not treating people like humans. Y'all treating people like numbers and treating them like kids and y'all wondering why they act the way they act. You gotta treat people with dignity and respect. You gotta stop just doing people like that. And you gotta be bold enough not to be used. And this lady, Fannie Willis, is being used by the system. And she think right now that she's getting away with it. But watch when Trump and them come with that anvil. Because when they come with the anvil, then she's gonna be like, oh my God, y'all. This is racism, y'all. Hey, big head. Watch, y'all gonna see. Mark my words. What's today? 23rd? It's March. Mark my words, this shit is gonna come true. And when it do, I want motherfuckers to go back to this goddamn podcast and be like, damn, this motherfucker Warren was right. I'm telling you, it don't pay to be used by the system. People think that it pays, but it doesn't fucking pay. It just don't pay. It don't. And let me tell you something. And when you get on these corporate plantations, sit back and watch. Don't just get to running your mouth. Observe and see who's talking and why they are talking. And if a motherfucker is coming to you trying to rile you up over some bullshit, look at the person. Look at their anatomy. Look at who they are as a person. And you're going to be like, why the fuck you coming over here with that shit? Then they going to see. And they going to see that you ain't the one to be played with. But, hey, man, that's my time. I went way over, man. I know, hey, man, enjoy your day today. Hey, man, handle your business. If you got court plantation today, then, enjoy your time at your court plantation. Get your paper and get the fuck on. Do your 8 and skate and get the fuck on, man. Hey, man, that's my time. Guilty, nigga. I'm out. Peace.